My boyfriend and I have been dating for about 10 weeks now. When he officially asked me to be his girlfriend, we mutually agreed to take things slow. Now, after almost 3 months, we decided it was time to meet each other's closest friends. I know he has told his guy friends about me before, but it would always be very vague. They just knew he was seeing someone. Now, on Monday, me and my boyfriend were hanging out when I noticed he was being distant. For example, when I snuggled up to him, he would not hug me or anything like that, which he usually does. I thought he was just having a bad day, so I initiated seg, thinking it would lighten up his mood. After that, I asked him if he was hungry and if he wanted to order some food, to which he just shrugged and said, "Don't know, I don't really care." At that moment, I kind of snapped and told him he should just tell me if he wanted me to leave instead of treating me like that. He was silent for about 20 seconds and then asked me if I know a guy friend of his. I'll just name him Alex. I told boyfriend I know him from when he's talking about his friends, but I haven't known him before I met him. He asked me if I was sure, and I said yes, 100%, because I am sure I have never met this guy in my life before my boyfriend. My boyfriend was silent again, looked at me and said fine, and started putting on his shoes and jacket to leave. I asked him what's wrong and where he's going. He just said, "I would have been fine with you hooking up with one of my friends before, but the lying is something I'm not putting up with. I'll go for a walk, and I want you to be gone when I'm back," before slamming the door in my face. I literally stood there in shock, questioning if it was some kind of a sick prank. After about 3 minutes, when I realized he was actually gone, I called my best friend and told her about what just happened. I was so confused I couldn't even cry. I was just in shock. I eventually packed my stuff and left, after my best friend told me it's probably best to just give him time and space. My best friend picked me up at his place, and we drove straight to hers since she didn't want me to sleep alone that night. I texted him, "I just want to let you know that I have no idea what you were talking about earlier. I'm not lying, and I do not know Alex. I'm very confused right now, but I want to give you the time and space you might need right now. Please call me when you are ready to talk. I don't want to lose you over something like that. I love you." And turned off my phone before trying to sleep that night, so I wouldn't stare at my phone every 2 minutes, hoping he replied to my text. Obviously, I couldn't sleep that night, so I turned on my phone at around 3 a.m. to a lengthy text from him, mainly stating how disappointed he is and how much I've hurt him. He told me he wanted to talk the next day at his house. At around 4 p.m., my best friend drove me back to his house and waited in the car for me. My boyfriend was already waiting for me, and I wanted to hug him, but he asked me not to touch him. I broke down crying in that moment. I couldn't get a word out, and he tried calming me down. He eventually started talking and told me he was hanging out with 5 of his guy friends when he casually brought up that him and I are official now. And he wants me to join the next time the other guys bring their girlfriends. They congratulated him. Some of them asked questions like how old I am, where we met, etc. Alex asked him to show him a picture of me, which my boyfriend did when one of his other friends looked at Alex, and Alex just asked my boyfriend if he's joking. My boyfriend asked them why he would be joking, and Alex basically told him that me and Alex used to hook up occasionally for about 5 months 2 years ago. Mo immediately accused my boyfriend of breaking bro code, telling him there was no way he didn't know. The other guys joined, saying it's not breaking bro code because Alex just banged me and it was nothing serious. My boyfriend was mortified and told him he never knew Alex was seeing me, and I never told him, even though I've seen him when boyfriend showed me pictures of his friend or when Alex would snap him or things like that. My boyfriend asked him if he didn't recognize me before from the things he's told the guys about me, or when he would post candid pictures of me, like me walking in front of my boyfriend, etc. He said no, because I changed a lot, which is true. I lost about 50 pounds and wear my hair different now. My boyfriend said Alex knew oddly specific things about my body, like tattoos you cannot see unless I'm in underwear, or scars, etc. At this point, I was freaking out because I honestly have no clue where he knows this details from. My boyfriend said it hurt him to find out this way, but he would have gotten past it because he could understand me being uncomfortable telling him about my past with one of his friends. But he won't forgive me, the lying straight in his face. I know my boyfriend has some trauma regarding lies and dishonesty, which is why I would never lie to him. I told him exactly that, but he didn't believe me, and I can't blame him. Everything Alex told him sounds real, and while I'm desperately trying to win my boyfriend back, I'm freaking out about the fact that Alex knows what I look like naked. My boyfriend told me he does not know if he can move on from that. I asked him if he wanted a break, and he just said I don't know. I apologized, and no, looking back, he probably thinks that was my way of admitting. I left his place and broke down in my best friend car crying again. It's been 2 days and he hasn't said anything. This uncertainty is destroying me. I honestly do not know what to do right now. How do I fix this relationship? Relevant comments. Somebody asked, your ex trying to find a way out of the relationship because of Alex? Original poster replied, my best friend thinks he's lying to get a way out too. She thinks he's realizing things are getting serious with us talking about meeting each other's friends and wants some excuse to break up now. And his friends probably don't even know we're official yet. It just doesn't make any sense. He was the one to bring up meeting each other's friends. Also, I feel like even though I might sound naive, he wouldn't lie to me. At least I hope he won't. I've come to Reddit because all my friends and family are telling me to just let him go because he's not worth it. But I honestly feel so heartbroken right now because it's something I had no control over. I've been making all kinds of suggestions to my boyfriend, but he's ignoring me. I just can't believe it's so easy for him to cut me out of his life completely. Your ex should cut Alex out and find a new friend group. Original poster replied, I can only hope for my ex that he end up doing this for himself. However, even though I still have love for him, there is no chance we're ever getting back together. And I think he's realized that too by now. Update almost 2 months later. Hey guys, I've read all the comments you've been leaving under my last post, and even though I've been on Reddit for a minute now, I realized I really don't know how to do this update stuff the right way, but I'll try anyways. First off, thank you all so much for all the comments and advice, even though I didn't like reading some things you guys said at the time. It opened my eyes. I did not sleep with my ex-boyfriend's friend. I'm not lying. I know everyone I've ever slept with, and he's not one of them. In the days after my initial post when my ex went radio silent, I had all the time in the world to reflect about this relationship, and I started to realize that there were only two options. Either my ex was lying to me, or Alex was lying to him. I stopped reaching out to my ex, and I guess it made him suspicious. 3 days after my post, my ex reached out to me through text, asking me if we could talk. At this point, I wasn't sad, but mad. I texted him a message basically saying that I'm not insane and I know what I did and what not. That either Alex is ruining our relationship or he's, my ex, lying to me, and I'm done being framed as a bad person when I've done nothing wrong. I also told him that at this point, there was no going back for me. Especially as I realized I started to build resentment towards him for sleeping with me right before everything blew up. So I'd rather wrap this breakup up as fast as possible. He read this message and was typing for like 20 minutes before calling me. He was crying and asking if we could meet up. I complied, but under the condition that he brings all my stuff, because I was not playing this game anymore. I'm currently staying at my parents' house, so he drove here still crying when he arrived. I honestly just wanted him to drop off my stuff and leave because I was scared I was going to cave in eventually. He asked me if he could come inside so he could explain himself. I asked what's there to explain, but he insisted I deserved the truth before breaking up completely. So I let him in, and we sat down to talk in my room. He started by saying that I am the woman of his dreams, and he just messed up for life, and how empty life was without me. And I started crying as well. I asked him to please stop and just tell me what's going on. He literally broke down, sobbing hysterically, to the point where I told him to calm down and breathe. He basically told me that Alex did tell him that he slept with me and that I'm not wifey material and he should break up with me. Alex told my ex to just ghost me because he doesn't need to justify himself and I don't deserve closure. My ex, however, wanted me to admit to sleeping with Alex, so he came up with his plan to test me. He lied about Alex knowing about my scars or tattoos to see how I would react so he could get a definite answer. He said he felt like my reaction to him telling me felt like I was lying and Alex was telling the truth. My ex told his friends about breaking up with me when Alex was freaking out at him for telling me that Alex has said that he slept with me. They argued back and forth until my ex asked him if he was lying too, which Alex said that he's not lying, but he just doesn't want his business out there like that. And that he swore to me that he would never tell anyone about sleeping with me. At this point, I interrupted my ex asking him if he seriously believes that, and he said no, that was when he realized Alex was lying to him. My ex said that he drove to Alex's place to talk crap out in person, but Alex's roommates wouldn't let him in since my ex seemed upset, so he drove to one of his other guy friends who was there too when Alex claimed he'd slept with me. Without going in too much more detail, my ex and his friend had a long talk. The friend told him that Alex had always talked crap about my ex for dating me. For context, in black, and my ex and his friends except for one are white, Alex would make jokes or share memes about black pusses and how no white dude in his right mind would turn to a black woman and some other pretty disturbing stuff I won't share on here. My ex's friends thought it was weird, but really didn't pay no mind because it's always been Alex's humor to make racist or dirtiest jokes, and they thought he was just frustrated about being single. Well, my ex said he thinks Alex did all of this because he's low-key racist and didn't want one of his friends to date outside of their race. I asked him, what about this crap is low-key and how irresponsible it was of him to not warn me and also subject me to people like this. He apologized profusely, saying he never really saw it until now, which I find really hard to believe. I was honestly speechless about how my ex lied to me, tested me, how he's casually hanging out with racists. My ex went on telling me how amazing I am, and he can't believe he ruined everything for another 5 minutes or so, until I asked him if there's anything important left he needs to tell me, or if anything is still unsaid. He said no and that he doesn't want to be selfish, but all he could ask is for me to consider the possibility of mending this relationship with the help of God. I didn't say anything and just got up, opened the door, and asked him if he had my stuff in his car. He said yes, so we went downstairs and I got my stuff out of his car. He asked if he could hug me. I said I don't know, so he hugged me and told me he's sorry, and I went inside again to call my best friend. My ex has reached out to me about 10 times or so until I blocked him everywhere. One of his guy friends, girlfriends even reached out to me saying that she feels for me and that she met Alex, and he never once said something like this in front of her, and how we've all been deceived. I told her that as good as her intentions might be, she should tell my ex, if he still has some respect for me, he would make sure that nor him or one of his acquaintances would ever reach out to me again. As weird as it may sound, but finding all of this out just made it easier for me to move on from him. I am still in shock and I'm still hurt, but I realize that in the time of us dating, I never knew who he or his friends were. In the past weeks, I've really started to heal and reflect on me and my attachment style, as some of you suggested. I've never been single or not dating anyone for longer than a month, and I tend to get wrapped up in my emotions so easily, and I realized that I was always a little scared to be completely single. On top of that, I tend to fall for people who carry a lot of emotional burden themselves, so I'm working on that at the moment. I'm sorry if you expected a dramatic plot twist of me admitting to sleeping with Alex or anything like that, and thank you again guys for all the comments. Relevant comments. Somebody said, has your ex always believed Alex at all with the tendencies? Original poster replied, I think my ex genuinely dismissed Alex's tendencies and didn't question it. On top of that, one of the guys in their friend group is black and Muslim. I'm mentioning that because Alex has also made discriminatory jokes about Islam in the past, so I think they all knew he'd say problematic stuff like that, but didn't consider him racist, or he'd say racist stuff and still hook up with women outside of his race, but not get serious with them. Honestly, I don't understand what's going on in their heads. Commenter absolutely did the right thing. 10 weeks is a small price to pay. Original poster replied, "True. I hated that hearing that in the beginning because I felt like I've known him forever and I thought he's the one. But truth is, I don't even consider people friends after 10 weeks of hanging out with them." Commenter, here's the thing about our friends. It's not rubbish when he says that he did not really think his friend was actually racist and didn't really pay much attention to it. When someone is your friend, they're your friend because you trust them and you see good in them. You tend to have a blind spot when it comes to your best friends. So, when your best friend tells you that they slept with your girlfriend, then you have a better chance of believing them, because why would your friend make it up? It doesn't make sense to you in your mind. In my view of this, I think two people are being punished. I think the original poster was punished for something that she did not do and was treated terribly by her boyfriend's friend. I also believe that her boyfriend is punished because he put his trust in his friend, and that cost him his relationship. I understand that the original poster is mad at him for not believing her, but I think she also needs to understand that it's not like he was choosing to believe a complete stranger. He was choosing to believe someone that has been his friend for a while, and that up until this, he had no reason to not put all of his trust into. I think that is something that should not exactly be glossed over. I think for both people in this relationship, they are both people that deserve a lot of sympathy. It sucks to be betrayed by someone that you trust. Original poster replied, "Me, breaking up with him wasn't a punishment, but a decision I made for myself. Honestly, yes, I was disappointed and shocked after everything my ex told me, but I wasn't mad at him. There's just no way the relationship could have been continued after what has happened. 1. Because I had zero trust in him anymore. Which leads to 2. I only know about Alex's racist tendencies through third parties. What if it's even worse than I've been told, and Alex is a serious danger for me to be around? I also didn't want to put myself in the position to make my ex choose between me and Alex, and potentially his whole friend group. I'm not the best to stand my ground or set boundaries, especially when it comes to romantic relationships. I've taken many exes back in the past, but this is something you cannot come back from." Somebody asked, "Will you trust your ex ever again after he lied to you?" Original poster replied, "Not a choice. If Alex isn't actually racist, that would just mean that my ex would be lying again because he's told me about several instances of Alex being racist. I get what you're saying, but none of it is changing how I feel, and I can't control how I feel. Also, I don't like how you're saying, me thinking Alex could be a potential danger is an exaggeration. Lying about hooking up with someone with the intention of breaking off a relationship is scary. It also implies that Alex didn't want me around my ex. At the end of the day, I'm not trying to find out what lengths Alex would go to, so I chose to leave.